They were impressive in one area of life. So you and your brain quietly promoted them to impressive in all areas and every areas of life. No audition, no evidence, no track record, just one brilliant quality, casting a glow so bright it lit up everything else around it, and you made a major decision in that light without ever checking whether the glow was real. This is called Hallo effect. This is bias number 31 in our 225 plus bias series. My name is Kali Cussons, Africa's premium high performance thinking and strategic execution expert. Now, the halo effect is the tendency to allow one outstanding positive trait, one outstanding quality or first impression of a person, brand, or idea to disproportionately color our overall judgment, causing us to assume that because something or someone excels in one dimension, they must be equally excellent across all other dimensions. Psychologist Edward Thorndike first identified and named this effect in 1920 after observing that military officers who rated their soldiers highly on one threat, military officers who rated their soldiers highly on one trait, say physical appearance or bearing, tended to rate them highly on entirely unrelated threats like intelligence, loyalty, and leadership, without independent evidence for those ratings. So one positive attribute throws a halo, over everything else. And in the warm, in the flattering light of that halo, critical evaluation stops, due diligence softens, red flag dims, and decisions gets made from glow rather than from truth. It happens when you see a pastor, a sheikh, an imam, a coach, a daddy, geo, and whatever, public speak, whatever, influencer, you like him, an actor, actress, and you think, oh, because he's an actor, he's an actress, he's good in acting, he's good in everything. That is not true. The same with our workers. Sometimes they are handsome, they are, charismatic, and we may not remember that they may not be good in customer service because of anger issues and all those. So, halo effect is not admiration. Halo effect is admiration that has quietly hijacked your judgment. You're admiring somebody, it hijacks your judgment, and you stop thinking of the other negatives of that person, and you think, because he's fine, he's handsome, she's fine, she's beautiful, every other thing is true. No, it's not like that. In business and relationships, you can always see this. Now, a startup founder walks into an investor pitch. He's tall, impeccably dressed, extraordinarily articulate, and carries himself so beautifully with the quiet confidence of someone who has clearly succeeded before. His opening 2 minutes are electric. The investors lean forward to listen. The halo is already forming. Now, as the pitch continues, there are gaps. The financial projections are optimistic to the point of fantasy. The market size claim is unsubstantiated. Now, the competitive analysis is thin. The team slides reveal that two key roles are still on field. Now, the investors are seeing everything through the halo of that remarkable first impressions. The gaps feel like minor details. The thin analysis feel like confident simplicity. The unfulfilled roles feel like exciting opportunities. Now they fund him. Okay? 18 months down the line, what happens? The projections prove fictional. The market was a fraction of what was claimed, and the team gaps were never filled with the right people. The investors didn't fund their business, they funded Hallo. They fell into the Hallo effect bias. This also devastates hiring. A candidate has an extraordinary academic pedigree, top university, first class honors, prestigious internship. The Hall effect immediately promotes that academic excellence into assumed excellence in teamwork, in creativity, in client management, in emotional intelligence, in leadership. But that's not always true. The interviewers, become captivated. So the interviews become confirmatory rather than investigative. The hiring panel is looking for evidence to validate the Hallo they already have, not evidence to test it. So the candidate joins and the team discovers that academic brilliance and workplace effectiveness are entirely different competencies, that the Hallo had collapsed into one. The same in relationships. A woman meets a man who is extraordinarily generous. On their first 3 days, he plans everything beautifully, pays for everything graciously, brings thoughtful gifts, and makes her feel genuinely valued and seen. She now labels him an intentional man. The whole effect activates immediately. Now, he's generous, therefore he must be honest. He's generous, therefore he must be emotionally mature. He's generous, therefore he must be faithful. He's generous, therefore he must be ready for commitment. He's generous, therefore he's an intentional man. None of these conclusions follow from the evidence. Generosity is one thread. It says nothing reliably about honesty, about fidelity, about emotional availability. It says nothing about readiness for a serious relationship. It's just generosity. But she's extrapolating, transplanting it from the domain where it belongs to a domain where it doesn't apply. But the halo of his generosity has illuminated every corner of her perception of him, and she has stopped looking for independent evidence in each of those critical areas. So 6 months later, she discovers that her generous man can simultaneously be dishonest, simultaneously be emotionally unavailable, simultaneously be non-committal and commitment resistant. The halo was real. The man behind it was more complex than the glow allowed her to see. So, what's the fix? 3 moves, sharp, practical, and proactive, you can do right now to put yourself in check. Number 1, evaluate each dimension independently and deliberately. When assessing a person, when assessing to hire somebody, when assessing you want a partner, when assessing a business collaboration or collaborator, when assessing an investment, identify the specific qualities that actually matter for that specific decision. Then evaluate each one separately with its own evidence, its own questions, its own track record. Do not allow excellence in one dimension to carry votes into other dimension. It has not earned. The investor should have evaluated their financial projections independently of how impressive the founder's presence was, how tall, how beautiful. The woman should have tested emotional maturity independent of how generous the man was. Compartmentalize your evaluation. Give each quality its own audition. Okay? Now, number 2 is that you need to understand to actively look for disconfirming evidence in your area of greatest admiration. The halo effect is strongest precisely where your admiration is highest. So when you are most impressed, that is exactly when you must look hardest for contradicting evidence. Ask this question: what would I need to see that would challenge my positive impression of this person or this opportunity? Then go all the way. Go all the way looking for it. We're not encouraging you to find fault. No, that's not what we're saying. But you see, build a complete and accurate picture, not the one by halo effect. The goal is not cynicism, it's not even pessimism. Yeah, the goal is just clarity. Know that you could be biased. So, suspend judgment and look for evidence. Now, the third one is institutionalize structured evaluation in your hiring and partnership decisions. Let there be a system that run this kind of thing for you. Build evaluation frameworks that force independent assessment of each critical competency, regardless of the overall impression a candidate or partner creates. Use scoring rubrics, involve multiple evaluators, separate the interview that tests presence and communication from the assessment that tests technical competence, that tests values, alignments, and track record. The Hallo effect thrives in unstructured, impression-driven evaluation. Structure is its antidote. So have a system around this so that your bias will not always take the better hold of you. Now, here's what the Hallo effect has quietly been doing in your business, in your life, in your relationship. And I need you to hear this with full clarity. Every time you were dazzled by one quality and stop asking questions about all the others, you weren't making a decision. You weren't just confused. You were making a wish manipulated by some other factors that you never knew were actually manipulating you. A wish that the impressive presenter was also a disciplined executor. Not true. Presenter, executor are different factors. Assess them, evaluate them on their own merit. A wish that the generous partner was also an honest one. A wish that the brilliant academic was also an effective team player. You invite a professor to come and manage your business. Okay? A wish that the charismatic founder was also a sound financial steward. Wishes are beautiful. They are catastrophic substitutes for due diligence. So, wishes will always sound beautiful, but always know that they are catastrophic substitutes for due diligence. The most expensive decisions of your professional and personal life will always, almost, have a halo somewhere in their origin story. So watch it. A quality so impressive it silenced your questions. A trait so attractive it answered concerns it was never asked about. A glow so warm it made the shadows look like light. From today, when you feel the warmth of a halo, treat it as a signal to look harder, not as a pessimism to stop looking. Admire freely is allowed, but evaluate independently. And never let the brightness of one quality blind you to the full truth of every other thing else. That would be a mistake, my friend. This is bias number 31. The glow is real. What's behind it requires a closer look. Share this with every leader, every investor, every person in a relationship who deserves to make decisions from evidence, not from radiance. I want to ask you this important question. When was the last time you fed the mind that makes the money? So like, share, subscribe. See you tomorrow.